Episode 19, here we are. And this one, I had a hard time sitting down to do. I wasn't really feeling it. I had no idea what I was about to record this on. And I just couldn't come up with an idea. So I'm just trying to be transparent with you guys. The ideas do not always flow out like I want. So what did I do? I sat down with my notepad and I was just writing things down, writing down everything that came into my mind, writing down a bunch of different ideas for this, I guess, podcast of sorts it's ended up to be. And I wrote one down, I think it was like the seventh one I wrote down. I was like, well, that's what I'm feeling right now, so that's what I'm going to go record. Today's podcast is on positivity. If you know me in my everyday life, this is something that I really try my best to do. I try to always be the most positive person in the room. I try to always look at things with the glass half full. I always want to be the person that's like, well, it could be worse, you know? I want to be the person that always thinks that this isn't that bad. We'll get through it. We are going to be okay. Because I really think that that's how it is. If you listen to the last episode, we talked about making mistakes a little bit. We talked about how you're going to take risks in your life, and making mistakes is just part of that. You're going to slip up. You're going to do some things that weren't necessarily the best moves at the time, but that is okay. Positivity is not only in work. I would say that it's more in personal life than it is in work. You can easily control being a positive person. If you just take a step back in every situation and try and put a positive spin on it, it's not that hard. Just sit there and think. Don't say everything as soon as it comes to your mind. Think about it, sit there, think about what the better thing is to say, think about how you can maybe frame it to sound better than you first had, and do it. But positivity is something that I stress so much. Life is going to suck sometimes. Life is going to just kick you in the ass over and over again. But if you're positive, you can get past it. You know that you've been through this before. You know you can get through it. You know that you can be the positive person in the room for somebody else to look at. I think that something as simple as just smiling can make such a big difference. It's kind of a joke that I have that I'll say to different people whenever they're going through something, whenever they're struggling. We'll just be sitting there and they'll be eating themselves away. They'll be talking, rambling, getting anything they need off of their chest, which is amazing. But I'll just sit there, won't say anything. I'll just say, smile. You know? Just smile. Everything is going to be all right. You know, whatever you're worried about right now is your problem. It sucks, but it's your problem. There are people out there that will put your problems down so much. You know, what you're going through doesn't affect the person next to you, which is kind of how I twist my thinking. Not a lot of people like thinking that way because you're always going through your own problems. You know, everyone's going through something at all times, and I understand that. But whatever you're going through, just know that it's not the end of the world. I'll try to explain what I meant by that. And I mean, it's hard to explain because it comes out kind of weird, but for some reason, it's something that's helped me a lot. Whenever I'm going through something, I sit there and I think about what it is. You know, you think about what you're going through. Maybe you talk to somebody about it. Maybe you journal about it. And then I like to twist it and think, you know, I live in this big city that there's a lot of people walking around next to each other not knowing who anyone is. You walk past so many people that you don't know and you have no idea what they're going through. This thing that you think is the biggest deal in the world means absolutely nothing to them. it does not affect their life at all. It affects your life, but you have to look at the big picture, and you're not affecting that many people. It seems so important right now because it's the worst thing in the world. It seems so important because your life might have changed a ton. You might have made somebody upset with whatever you did. But those people that you don't know, you didn't affect them. If you told them your problem, they would probably be like, well, like, it's not that big of a deal, you know? And that's so hard to explain, but I just that's what I come back to. The fact that it's not affecting that many people. The fact that you go through a breakup and it sucks. Your life changed so much. But if you take a step back and you think, well, I'm really upset about this. But there's so many people out there that are happy. There's so many people out there that are having a great day today. I'm talking to my brother about what I'm going through. And he understands why I'm upset, but my brother's not upset right now. That shows you that whatever it is, you don't have to really dwell on it. You still have these people around you that will be there through it all. Being positive in these dark situations is important. Being positive whenever you probably shouldn't even be positive is such a good skill to have. Walking into a place, carrying yourself with that positive energy, with these people that you might not even know at all. It's important. It can go a long way. You never know what somebody's going through. You never know what one of those people walking down the road is going through. But it's a weird thought whenever you put it in the perspective of like that it doesn't affect you. The world's so big, and I know your life is your life. Your biggest problem right now is the biggest one you have. That's your life. That's what affects you. So, like I talked about in a previous episode, what you're going through is what you're going through. What the worst thing you've ever went through is the worst thing you've ever went through. That might be nothing compared to somebody else, but that's what you're going through. So it's okay to be upset, but that positive mindset is everything. Whenever you're on the job, whenever you're in the office with all your coworkers, and you're sitting there and things just seem to be piling up. If you're the positive energy in the room, it will go a long way. You might not have somebody walk up to you and be like, hey, I really appreciate you being so positive, but it rubs off on other people. Something bad happens. Well, this is the worst thing that could happen. You give them the worst case scenario. And a lot of the time, the worst case isn't that bad. A lot of the times, whenever you really break it down, the worst thing that can happen isn't that bad. It might seem like it's going to be horrible, but the thing is, everyone's been through it. Everyone can relate to you at some level. Everyone wants you to be okay. Here's a perfect example. My friend was going on a trip, and there were some changes of plans, some dates changed around, but he already booked some stuff. And so he rebooked everything and then realized that the dates and the locations that he booked everything at were incorrect. Now that sucks. We slip up. It is what it is. But then he called the location. It was a spa that he booked these things at. He called the locations, and he was just completely honest with them. He said, I messed up. I meant to book it this day. I meant to book it at your location. Somehow I messed that up. Somehow I didn't realize what I was doing, and I'm trying to fix it now. Can you help me in any way? The girl looked it up in the system and realized that he was being honest. He had things booked at a different location, had things booked for the wrong dates. She was like, you know what? Like, it's okay. Let me see what I can do. And since he was being honest, she went ahead and she was like, well, we could probably squeeze you in here. I see that you have this time booked. Yeah, we can have those massages for this time. But whenever he went and looked online, it wasn't available. You know, whenever he went to reschedule in the correct place, it wasn't available. So you need to realize that a reason to be positive in like a scenario where you just completely mess up is because people have been there before. People understand where you're at, and people realize that, you know, they've messed up too. They've had these stupid little slip-ups that get so annoying. There's nothing that annoys me more than whenever I mess up a little bit. Whenever I do something that was completely in my control. You can always fix a problem. Positivity helps with that. Somebody's going through a problem, you help them through that. You're that positive energy that they need whenever everything is just adding up on them. So just try and be the positive person in the room. I think I've talked about this before, but just keep doing it. If you're the positive person in the room, you will rub off on them, and you'll just be that good energy that people like and the good energy that people like inviting back. So, with that being said, keep doing it. You know, you're going through a hard time, be positive. Realize that it's all going to blow over eventually. And everything will actually be okay at the end of the day. It might be tough. It might be a hard obstacle to work through. But everything will be all right. So keep killing it. Keep getting after it. Keep waking up every day. Absolutely crushing it. And don't be too hard on yourself because you're doing well. Peace out. See you in the next episode.